What's up? Thank you all for joining us. It is Wednesday. Is that right? Wednesday? Wednesday
No,
night?
it is not Wednesday. I think it
No, it's
is
Thursday night. It is
Thursday.
Thursday night. I'm sorry. I've been tired for too long. Don't even know what day it is. Yeah, it is Thursday night. Thank you all for joining us. We have a very interesting topic that is very useful. We're dropping jewels tonight for
Yeah.
those people who are looking to get into relationships. Our topic tonight is called Before You Get Into a Relationship, You Must Know the Characteristics of a Healthy, Functional Romantic Relationship.
Yep, the characteristics. That is super important before you get into a relationship because if you don't know what a healthy relationship is, you won't know how to recognize it or, how to appreciate it or even know how to conduct yourself in one.
Right. Understand this. Let me give you some background statistics. 64% of us are coming from we're coming from single parent households. So what that means is that we haven't had a great example of what the dynamic of what a functional, healthy relationship looks like. And we're going to take you through those key points. But, you know, more importantly, what that means is that we may not understand what it means to coexist with a spouse.
Hmm.
So what you want to do is make sure that you are well suited. That means you are marriage fit before you go into marriage,
Hmm.
so that your marriage doesn't become a statistic and ends in divorce.
Or even just a relationship.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
either your relationship. So we're gonna take you through those, and then also understand too, and it's not your fault that you don't have these skills. So what we are here to guide you through that, provide you with some skills, and also so that you can work on those skills and that you're better equipped to maintain a relationship and be fruitful in your marriage
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah, and especially be able to recognize what a dysfunctional relationship is, right? So you can know that it is a red flag and you definitely need to get out the situation that is not going to be fruitful.
Right. So if you all know anybody who needs to hear this,
Mhm.
please share this video.
Yeah.
Ask them to go ahead and join in
Yeah.
on the conversation. And viewers out there, as always, if you all have any comments, please provide those comments to us live on the show. If you would like to chime in, please. We
Yeah.
really appreciate the audience participation. We thoroughly enjoy it
Hmm.
when the audience does participate, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help you all out and navigate relationships and
Yeah.
any of the situations that you are going to. We don't mind going off a topic for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight, let's talk about these characteristics of a functional, healthy relationship.
Hmm.
They are very important. Um,
Even when you're already in a relationship as well. So this is even
mhm.
beneficial for those who's in a relationship. But the first one in particular definitely applies to if you're single, because it's best that you do this single, is finding your own personal integrity, right? That is a huge part of a healthy relationship because you are still going to be individuals. So you want your individual mindsets to be aligned. You want to have the same values and good principles within yourself that you have to develop yourself first, right? You have to do that on your own in order to establish a good relationship.
Right. And maintaining ethics, integrity is all about being righteous and truthful,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you do the right thing at all times.
Mm-hmm.
It I don't know, it may be harder, for young males, young boys that are in relationships. That is where a lot of times we falter at, is the integrity part, especially when it comes to women. And
Yeah.
that's how we get involved with multiple women. But when you're serious in your intentions on being married and you're out there looking, that dwindles down.
Mm-hmm.
You're not out here trying to pull in as many females as you possibly can, so that you have a date every night or
Mm-hmm.
someone to sleep with every night. It's more so about doing the right thing and being honest with the person that you're dating with
Yeah.
and being truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Those characteristics will move you forward into marriage, believe it or not. Integrity has a lot to do with making sure that, like I said before, you do all the right things and you are preparing for marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, it's important too that you do this on your own because each person wants to have their own life, and that is supposed to still be respected as you go into having a relationship. So, as you build on your morals and your principles, you'll gain your own routines that put in place so that you can keep yourself in line, whatever it is, your own disciplines that you adapt over time, which we all know you have to have for your own success, right? So you take those and then you look how you can apply that within your relationship. But it's still going to require that autonomy of you making righteous decisions
Hmm.
within that relationship so that the whole relationship can thrive with you being independent of, the relationship as in a whole person within yourself. Because that's really a big part of integrity is being whole within yourself.
Right, exactly. That goes about, like I said before, about being righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, young men who are intending to date with the intention of marriage, you don't go out there and, try to collect phone numbers from girls, other women, in that aspect. That's not integrity. That's not righteous. That's not moral, especially if you're already dating someone. But there's nothing wrong with, if you're feeling as if that person isn't the right one, you may have to, look other places. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. But if you
Yeah.
know you found the right one, then by all means, you need to stay loyal and faithful to that individual and see if you all can make it through marriage.
Yep. That honesty and accountability is actually what sets up the next stage of a healthy relationship. Having to develop that honesty with first yourself, that accountability with first yourself, and then being able to actively apply that within a dynamic of two people so that then you can come in and be honest and have integrity within the relationship. That accountability is huge too in order for you to be able to depend on somebody else. You want to know that, hey, I can count on you to stand by your principles behind closed doors because I know who you are and I can trust that. So that honesty is really going to give you a good bond and a safe space to rest in when you're in love, which is definitely a key thing when it comes to love because love and fear just cannot exist. So you really want to make sure that you're creating a safe environment for both of you to function in.
Right. And that is number two.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my wife is speaking about. Point number two, honesty and accountability. Now,
Mm-hmm.
accountability is making sure that you're admitting when you are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have a very hard time doing that. It is a sign of maturity.
Yeah.
We are all looking for mature people. Those who wants to be in relationships are looking for mature people to be in a relationship with, of course. And one of those
Mm-hmm.
greatest signs is admitting when you are wrong, accountability. We
Mm-hmm.
don't do that enough, I don't think,
Yeah.
as far as people, society,
Yeah.
and
Maybe it's the fear of that, like what's going to happen afterwards. But I think the whole idea of just being open and transparent allows for change to take place. And that accountability sets it up for you to do better within your life. But you won't look to do that if you don't, take accountability for that being something you need to do.
right. I think it's more so humans don't do it as often as we should because it shows signs of vulnerability.
Yeah.
I think that I think that's the ultimate reason why people don't take accountability or say I'm sorry when I've done something wrong, especially in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it could be something as far as generalizing, saying that you always do something, you always do this, you don't never do this, you ain't never do that, and then the person goes back and said, "Well, that is not true. I did this last week," and then crickets. You don't get an apology from that and say, "Well, yeah, you're right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
Yeah.
Or if you
As it
do,
should be. Yeah.
right, you should. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay because what it does, it allows your partner to feel accepted. It validates them. It helps
Mm-hmm.
them to understand that you actually understand and that you actually care.
Mm-hmm.
It's a I think that's probably the most rewarding feeling is understanding that your spouse knows that they are wrong and that it's okay. And don't bash them down about it once they admit they're wrong. You want
Yeah.
to maintain your maturity in the relationship, and I say even your professionalism in the relationship as well. because you're not there to bash them down or beat them down.
Yeah.
You tell them that I understand you made a mistake. I really appreciate you admitting that you were wrong,
Mhm.
and then you keep it moving.
Yeah, that's good personal integrity within yourself. And that's why that's also kind of bounces with each other, because in personal integrity is also acknowledging, hey, I have these things that I've gone through, these past traumas. Maybe I was abusive in my past. Maybe I used violent behaviors in my past. Whatever it is that you have realized that you have done, being able to acknowledge that and then bring it to your new spouse within this relationship so that it's out in the open. But yes, at that same point, not taking advantage of that spouse when they are showing you that vulnerability, because that's huge. You want to know all about your spouse. You want to know the past. You want to know the future. And you really want to know what's going on within them right now. And if they can't be open and honest and vulnerable with you, it's really going to stunt you in other areas where you're going to need that.
Right. And then, like I was saying, like if you go back and beat them down because they apologize, they're not going to want to apologize again to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it 100.
Yeah. And it builds up resentment in a way,
Right.
too.
It does. So don't do that.
Mhm.
Look, but you should practice being apologetic
Yeah.
and admitting your mistakes and when you're wrong. Not saying that fixes things at all, but it shows
Right.
signs of level of maturity, shows signs of honesty, and ultimately accountability. We all want to be
Mhm.
held accountable. You do these things at work, so
Yeah.
why not do them in your relationship work?
Mhm.
Don't if you're doing it at work for somebody else, you should be doing it for your spouse.
Mhm. Yeah, it's keeping your word, it's showing up. It's saying, "Hey, I'm here and I'm going to be who I said that I was going to be, and I'm betting on you to do the same," right? And definitely want the other person to reciprocate that. So, that honesty is going to set up good open and kind of back and forth dialogue that should be a really good flow of communication, which is the next very, very important characteristic of a healthy relationship. Open communication, being able to express yourself, all of the things that are going through your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, all of that in a healthy way and a productive way. Definitely within a relationship, you want it to be productive so that it's not just, kind of stagnant.
Right. Communication is based on clarifying issues,
Hmm.
um, and also to specifying your feelings, and then working together to mutually satisfy a solution. So what I like to say is you like to reconcile the issue, you like to negotiate the situation, and then resolve your problems.
Hmm.
I don't think that, again, that's the reason why I preach that every night, because I don't think that a lot of people understand that that's what you're supposed to do instead of argue.
Mm.
You're supposed to reconcile the situation. Okay, see what the problem is right now.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't like that you hung the phone up on me or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And then number two, negotiate. Okay, well, next time I won't do that. I'll make sure that if you had, I'll ask you, do you have anything else to say before I hang up? And then number three, you resolve. Say, okay, next time that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you and hold me accountable for that.
Mhm.
That's what you do.
Yep.
That's as simple as that. I
Yeah.
don't.
Well,
We know
nah,
we don't.
it is that simple, but it
Right.
is quite
Right.
when you're in there, unless you
The-
actively practice it, but it
right.
becomes very simple over
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is hard. Why people don't want to, do that? One, they don't have the example and haven't seen that before.
Mhm.
Our parents, I have, have you seen your parents do things like that?
Yeah.
Probably not, because what they probably did was just argued and then stop arguing.
Or didn't argue at all and you didn't see that.
Right.
Or you didn't even see your parents in
Parents
a healthy
argue. Right.
relationship in general.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you didn't see that dynamic as well. So yeah, that's totally true. If you don't really see that, you don't know what that open communication looks like.
Right.
And listening, that's a huge
Mhm.
open communication thing too that people often neglect, and it's a big valued part of communication. Listening.
Right. And because these things, like I go back to the job aspect, sometimes even these things we don't even do on the job. Reconcile what the issue is, negotiate it, and then resolve it. To be honest with you, that's usually why you got people bickering and always constantly, poking at each other at work.
Yeah, that good
So
dialogue and communication.
right. I think this overall, in relationships together, that is a big piece that is missing. Look at the world now in this times. All the trouble that's going on in the world, who's reconciling, negotiating, and trying to resolve conflicts.
Mhm.
That's just that's it's you see it's resonating throughout our society now as we speak. We
Yeah.
need more of that. more understanding about what issues are, and it's okay to have conflict, but it's more important to resolve them.
Yeah, and
And
work together.
right, and like my wife said, active listening. By all means, that is part of, I think, the most important part of communicating, openly communicating,
Hmm.
is active listening, and then also too letting showing empathy and understanding that you care about that person and what they say, and you value who they are, and what they do and say.
Yeah, listening. Yeah, that's huge. And then also for you to be able to respond in a positive manner or in a manner that's productive. Because if you don't listen, then you're not going to get all of the details. You're not going to get a true, deeper understanding about the best way that you can go about responding and helping the situation. If not, you're just kind of going to harm the situation because you don't know, all the information. Or you could be judgmental. You could be judging the situation or making assumptions. Oh my gosh, that is the number one thing within relationships that just it doesn't work. Assumptions. Assumptions really is just saying that I'm not even bothering to try to hear you out or understand or really be empathetic to that. I'm just going to go and assume what I think off of the caricature I have built in my mind over you. Because most of the time, that's what it is when you're making assumptions. You're going off of the past things that you have seen, heard, or had done to you. And that's not fair to bring that into with your spouse, because if you're, again, going back to the part of having personal integrity and being with somebody else that has personal integrity, you want to be able to trust in who they are, be accountable, and really see like, hey, I can trust this person and I see that they're going to be a good person. And therefore, I'm not going to assume things that may not be the case. Instead, I'm going to look and listen to them and try to hear them out and see their perspective.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. I think that not judging, and especially dealing with the open communication, and like you were saying that assuming. Also too, something we shouldn't do is generalize
Mhm.
when we communicate, saying that someone always does something knowing well that they don't. You want to stick to the facts, especially in communicating with your
Mhm.
spouse, making sure that you bring the facts to the table, and then you all discuss the factual information that's going on. If there's an issue that's arising that may lead to an argument, and then
Yeah.
like my wife said, you don't make assumptions and say that, well, you're going to do this anyway, so I
Mhm.
don't even know why we're talking.
Or even have that dialogue within your head.
Right.
I think that's big for women too, because you may not say this to your spouse, but in your mind, you could be making up assumptions or generalizing, and then it's blocking out your ability to hear what your husband's saying.
Right. And then that's the reason why that happens. And when that happens, that's when the shouting match occurs.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't calm your mind before you get inflamed into an argument.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, we have some chat.
also too, make sure that you don't generalize and then assume. That's by far the worst thing that you can do, because what it's going to do is inflame the situation and draw you and your spouse into an argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for the comments. I'm sorry. We be into
Fishing
the
from the boat
Yeah,
804. Appreciate
what's
you.
up? Yeah, we be into the show. We kind of miss it, but then we tell y'all,
Mhm.
we always think about you. Though we gonna get there.
Hey man, I still got to take that fishing trip with you too. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
we appreciate you too.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you for the
guys. Yeah,
comments.
thank everybody for tuning in. This is really something that we're really trying to be helpful and beneficial for our community. It's really about us all coming together, and in a way, I feel like doing righteous work, the God's work, because at the end of the day, it seems to be some agenda on ripping the man and the woman apart. But I, for one, am not going to stand for one of the most beautiful creations that God, and the true miracle that God has created when he put the man and the woman together. So this is
Right,
just our small part that we're going to play into helping move the culture forward in unity and love at the end of the day.
right, and then also too, personally for me, is I want to help reduce the statistic of divorce,
Yes.
and keeping
Yes.
families together.
For our children,
Right,
for the future. We all see what it's like not with having two parents in the household.
right. Because over 50% of relationships, marriages end in divorce, and then that's what lead to 64% of children growing up in single parent households.
Yeah.
And then our in the Black community, we make up 80% of that 64% statistic. So
Yeah.
that is a big issue. So that is why I'm so passionate about doing this show and giving
Yeah.
out this advice. I wish I had this show when I was growing up so
Right.
that I could better move through the
Right.
culture and the dating scene, because we are providing great beneficial information. That's the reason why we should call the show Blueprint Family Jewels.
Yeah, because
We're
it
here to
ain't really
drop
about
jewels.
us. Yeah, it's not really about us, but it's actually providing that blueprint for other people to do the same thing and have a successful relationship.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, but back to the topic. We digress. One more thing I did wanted to add about open communication is making sure that it involves non-threatening behavior. So when you're going to have this communication with your spouse, you want to help them feel safe. Men and women, this goes both ways. Sometimes a man can feel attacked just as much as a woman can feel attacked if they're being approached in a threatening type way. If it's loud, if it's aggressive, if it's too much, maybe hand movements, getting too close to the face, violating personal space. Who knows? Whatever it is, your boundaries that, kind of tips you to the point. And of course, too, this will also go back to past trauma, especially if somebody has been in an abusive relationship or has any type of association with that when it comes to male and female dynamics. It can happen to the male as well. Definitely making sure that you are opening up a safe space for this open communication. Yeah, that was just my main thought. I had it lingering in my head. I definitely wanted to make sure to say that. Yeah. Because you really want everybody comfortable to be able to express what they feel. That's super important within a relationship. So, number 4.
Yep, negotiation and fairness.
Yep.
So seeking mutual satisfying resolution to conflict, being willing to find solutions that are agreeable to both people. So that's what I was talking about the reconciling the issue, negotiating and resolving that issue.
Yep.
Like I said before, I don't think a lot of us do that enough or understand that or know the indicator on when to do that. And that
Yeah.
is before you start arguing.
Yeah.
You want to take the time out to go ahead and calm down and then come back with your spouse and reconcile the issue, understand what the issue is, how it started, how your feelings are. Then number 2, negotiate that issue and talk about ways in which you both can agree on preventing it from happening. And then number 2, resolving, meaning that, okay, so next time this is what we are going to do instead of fighting and arguing about this.
Yeah, it's going to require too acknowledging both of your wants and needs. That's
Yep.
all about negotiating, and for it to be fair, both partners have to get the opportunity to speak up and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I think I need from the situation. What do you need from the situation? And here's how we can merge these needs together so that it's beneficial for both of us.
Right. Because you want to make sure in negotiating, I think Nipsey Hussle said it best from last time I heard, is that negotiating should be a win-win for both sides. If one person is benefiting over the other person, then that means it's a win-lose situation. You don't want if you and your spouse are on the same team, you do not want them to lose.
Right.
At all.
Right.
What kind of relationship is that if you always want your spouse to lose?
Right. Yeah, and people don't even realize how, in a way, threatening that is to the relationship. Because if you ever go into an argument or communication, some type of dialogue with the idea of I gotta win this, or I'm gonna say this just so I can win, that's doing nothing but setting your relationship up for failure.
Right.
Yep.
And then arguing, especially if you're in a relationship with someone who loves to argue.
Yeah.
They're arguing with you because they want to win the argument. That's what that is about. They want to compete against you. Why are you competing in a relationship when you both are on the same team?
Yeah.
That part I don't understand.
One thing that pops in my mind, if you are in a relationship with somebody and you seem to have this cycle of it being argumentative, definitely make sure to go back and explore, is there some kind of chemical addictive, maybe past trauma that is causing kind of a disconnect with healthy communication because you're slightly addicted to the sensation of fight or flight arguments. That's very common if you were in an abusive relationship before, or if you grew up with some type of past trauma, some type of childhood. People don't often recognize how that can be addictive to the mind. Very much like a fight or flight situation, those chemicals that you get and you build up within your mind can be so exciting, and the drop from it can be so debilitating that you look for the next time to argue because you're looking for that next feeling. It is such a situation that's kind of overlooked often, but it's definitely something that has to be explored.
Right. Like, why are you so aggressive?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so aggressive in the relationship and trying to look for something to argue about?
Yeah.
It's like they think of it as like a blood sport. I
Yeah.
gotta win I'm gonna do everything I can to win this damn argument.
Yeah.
I'm gonna really put her in her place.
Yeah. It's not really about that. It's
No,
really
it's
not.
not.
And that's not fruitful for your relationship or loving. It's not demonstrating love at all. So
No.
definitely make sure that that is not a characteristic of your relationship. It's okay to have your disagreements. That is super normal. It's
Oh, yeah.
actually super healthy. That's not at all what we're saying, but just making sure that when you have those disagreements, you're able to come back around full circle.
Right.
And that will actually contribute to the next part, which is economic teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
But, when we talk about, I was talking more so about teamwork within itself, but economic teamwork is both spouses recognizing their ability to contribute to the economic success of the relationship. This won't always be monetary value. That's something that people always have to recognize, and especially when it comes to the male and female dynamic. And if it's really something you're interested in, as far as like homeschooling your kids, or the women, staying home, situations like that, it's really important to understand there's value in that as well, because daycare is being saved. You're looking at maybe private school costs is being saved, all of the food expenses. A lot of that is really being saved during those times. So if you can really see that economic teamwork within how your relationship can function and be fruitful, doesn't always have to be the man right away. Sometimes it starts off as the woman right away, whatever it is, just being able to find that balance in both partners being satisfied with who's contributing what.
Right. And like my wife said, it goes beyond monetary value. Time, someone providing their time to a specific situation that needs to go on in the relationship. You're looking for them to I don't know, go to the, go somewhere so that you can go do something. Take the kids somewhere, spend time with the kids. And like my wife said, even if the wife is a stay-at-home mom, you're very valuable. You're also the cook, the chef for the family.
Yeah.
You're also the teacher for the family, and then also you are also providing childcare for the family. And I think someone said that, if you counted up all of those services, put that together, the salary for that is like over $300,000 a year, for someone like that. So that is valuable within itself. And there's other ways that you can contribute as far as in a relationship, as far as economic teamwork.
Yeah.
You can help elevate your husband, elevate your wife as far as careers, depending on who's breadwinning in this situation. Help them write out resumes and put out applications so that they can utilize opportunities to get more advancements and money. Because it's always better if there's a team of two instead of a team of one who are working together to you can get more done that way, dealing with time.
Yep.
Because all of these things consume time. So.
Yep. And this goes as far as dates, right? So even when you're in the dating phase, being able to recognize that teamwork of maybe possibly splitting the dates up. One day you pay for this date, and the next date the woman pays for the date. However you guys come up with that agreement, but just being able to establish that teamwork as far as economics goes very early on will be very helpful within your relationship. Because one of the most important things about economic teamwork is being able to talk about finances. You guys have to be able to communicate about what your finances look like, what your goals are as far as your finances, how you guys are going to implement it, maybe even seeing who's best at doing the investments, who's best at doing paying the bills, who's best at doing what, and just being able to establish those roles early on as a great thing that's going to be beneficial without the long-term scheme of a relationship.
Right. I, for one, believe that the man should be paying for everything.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yes.
And then in the case for economic teamwork, the wife is the woman is providing other supports in areas in which the man can't support himself. If you understand what I'm saying, she's providing, sex to the man because that is something that inspires him, and also it helps the man with his confidence. Other ways and things that women can elevate men.
Yeah.
With your kindness, just being a friend to support him and talk to someone that can help him relieve mental stress. And it needs to be reciprocated, of course. These are things that men will also do for you. A good man will also do for you. A good man doesn't have a defense for a good woman. There's no reason why he would try to get rid of her. And if a good woman is up here stating that, oh, well, I'm a good woman, but still I don't, this man just left me. It may be some hidden things that you may also need to discover about yourself that you probably haven't known before.
I like that.
Right.
Discover
And a good way,
about yourself.
a good way to find that is to, take my wife's economics course. I challenge you to do that, because while you're doing that, I guarantee that there are things in there that you probably have not discovered about yourself before, and also some tools that you could pick up along the way that you can contribute into your new relationship.
Yep, that shows your value.
That shows your value.
Yep. Your value beyond monetary things, the
Right.
true value that a woman has to offer that a man will be able to recognize and want, for sure, as a feminine asset on his team.
Right, because I say this all the time. A good man doesn't have a defense for a good woman. He doesn't. He's not trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
He's always going to try to keep her, and when push comes to shove, he will get down on his knee and marry that woman.
Yeah.
Because good love is hard to find out here. It really is. Especially, times are getting harder and harder, people. So we're, you all are getting backed into corners to find relationships, because doing it alone is only going to get harder and harder here.
Yeah,
especially with this economic situation, other than that's going on out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about economic teamwork.
Right.
I'm talking about the economy.
Right. But that is a big one that is super important when it comes to the dynamic and the healthy characteristics of a relationship, is being able to have economic teamwork. And I almost forgot, a big characteristic of economic teamwork is being generous within what you offer to your man, generous within what your man offers, to the woman, and just generous within making sure that, hey, I am contributing and wanting to contribute to my spouse, because it's a give type of relationship. So generosity, that's a huge thing. And the cool thing about generosity is you always get back what you give out. So definitely give out as much as good as you can, especially within your relationship, because love is reciprocal, for sure.
Right. I agree.
Yep.
Well said, honey. Well said. And this is segues into number 6.
7. Oh yeah, 6. Sorry.
Respect.
Yep.
Respect. RESPECT.
Yeah. We always talk about that one.
Yep. So each person is valued for who they are and what they bring to the relationship.
Yeah.
Understand that. And that is ways where you can exhibit your respect and valuing your partner. Is by basically what attributes and skills you bring to your relationship. Men, be providers, protectors, be the handyman of your household. Like today I cut manicured my lawn and cut my grass and all these other things. That's the value that I bring to my relationship to my wife and my family.
Yeah.
Is me being handy as a man.
Yep. And that is something that we respect and we love, and we always show our respect for, and because that makes it wanting you to continue to do it, and you feeling more, I guess, not boast up because you know your worth and your value,
No, I'm
but you feel
feeling more
appreciated. That,
inspired
yeah,
and
yep, and appreciated.
mhm,
That was really the word I was
and
looking for.
motivated.
Yeah, and motivated. Yep, that is really definitely what I'm looking for, because that's so true what that does. When you give a man respect in particular, it shows him, hey, I love you, and this, even more so than me telling you I love you, is how I am demonstrating this through my respect for you.
Hmm. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Um, and respect goes into paying attention. Pay
Yeah.
attention to needs. Now, we're not telling people to
Hmm.
be mind readers by all means, no.
Yeah.
But if it's something like, my wife's not feeling well today, okay, I
Hmm.
might, get up early, making sure that she's getting something to eat. I can make her something to eat, give her some
Hmm.
fluids so that she can stay hydrated. Just being mindful and initiating actions before they're asked for when you
Hmm.
know that they are appropriate in the time of need.
Yep.
That's what respect is too. That's me showing respect for my spouse. So if
Yep.
she's not feeling 100%, then I can go and fulfill some of the duties around the household that she normally does,
Hmm.
and then vice versa.
Yep.
For me as well.
Yep.
But I'm not asking her because I'm a masculine male. I'm not asking her to get on the roof and clean the gutters.
Right.
Things like that. I'll just do that when I feel better.
Right.
And but things like that teamwork aspect in that relationship, paying close attention to your spouse,
Yeah.
and
And it's
valuing them.
Yep, and accepting them for who they are. I
Hmm.
think a huge part of respect is acceptance. And men associate respect with acceptance, and they feel more accepted when you respect them. It really goes hand in hand. So it's important to know that, hey, I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to make you be somebody that you're not. I love you for who you are now, and I can show you that respect now. And I also admire who you're going to be because I'm showing you this respect where you're at right now.
The best way, there is a hack to changing people. And I'm gonna tell you that secret and drop this jewel tonight. The hack. People do want to change people,
Hmm.
but you should not do that. You should respect the people for your spouse for who they are.
Yeah.
But we've already said the ways that you can change people, and it's through ways that will inspire them and motivate them. That is the secret to changing people. That's the best that you can do outside of someone else, to try to change somebody, is to inspire them and to motivate them. What does that mean in your relationship? You define that.
Hmm.
What is it that your spouse likes? Things,
Yeah.
give them things that they like doing. And also to have conversations about what changes you may want to occur. If
Hmm.
you continue those type of patterns, and you may see some results and changes being made.
Yeah.
But that comes out of respect as well, um, and
Not
respect,
forcing it.
right? Not forcing it at all.
Hmm.
I'm not telling you to, inspire your husband and then tell them right after, like, now you need to go out here and fix this, cut the grass.
Or keeping tabs on progress. You
Right,
ain't did nothing yet. I ain't seeing no change
right.
yet.
Yeah,
Like,
don't do that either, because that's not going to work.
yeah.
But that is, that's the best that someone can do. Buy them gifts or something like that and tell them you appreciate them. Um, a-
Yeah.
but that is the best thing that you can do as far as changing people, is to inspire and motivate them by, giving them gifts of some sort, and then following that up with some sort of conversation about an issue or something. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, that is the most that you can do, because
Yeah.
people look forward to trying to change people, but it's not by force
Yeah.
or arguing or conflict. It's not.
Yeah. I wouldn't even honestly look to even try to do this. I would honestly want to just find a person who you can respect who they are at right now in life, and then hold that positive vision of them growing and becoming even more, because that's really important when it comes to loving somebody and valuing them where they're at right now and respecting them where they're at right now, not being so focused on how can I get them to do better, be different, be more like I want them to be, but more so that I love this person who they are right now and I'm enjoying my time with them. I think a lot of times when a person looks to change somebody, they're not enjoying their time with that person. And that is actually a misconception, because you're missing out on a good opportunity and a good environment by just enjoying that person where they are right
Hmm.
now. Instead,
So
not looking to, change that and make things different.
what you're saying is that the problem may be the person who's not enjoying the relationship.
Mhm.
That change needs to happen with that person on the
Yeah.
inside.
Gandhi said it best. You can't change anybody else. You can only change yourself. And that is super true
Right.
because that's the only person that you have control over. So if you can look to be happy in this moment of where you're at right now, then that's going to be key within your relationship. But if it's not something that you can even do, that probably ain't even the person for you, because love is supposed to take you to a place of feeling feeling inspired, feeling like, oh, I can want to do better, do my best, and do more.
Or
That's real love.
or either something, there's something wrong with you and
Mm-hmm.
you need to go get some help with that. Um,
Yeah.
being comfortable with yourself and in that
Mm-hmm.
relationship. Maybe some
Yeah.
traumas there that makes you want to change people. You may have a pattern of trying to change people throughout relationships, and that
Yeah.
isn't, that's not conductive. I mean, that's not
No.
productive
Nope.
at all.
Nope. Not at all. So yeah, respect is also being mindful of, like my husband was saying, each other's needs and wants in the relationship, and also respecting that and being able to say, hey, I heard that this is what you want, this is what you need. I'm going to respect that I heard you say this, and I'm going to look to fulfill those things for you because I love you and I want to be in this relationship with you. That is a huge characteristic of a healthy relationship. Yeah.
Indeed. So let's roll to number 7.
Okay.
Trust and support. So next is trust and support. That is the next tip that we're providing for people before they get into relationships. So being supportive, um, wanting the best for your spouse, and knowing that you are able to rely on your spouse.
Yeah.
By all means, we we look for that in relationships. Trust and support are a building block for a relationship. If you don't have that in your relationship, there is no relationship. That's a
Mhm.
situationship, and you both are side people, side chick, side dude. So that's what that's going on. If you don't trust the person that you're with, you are in trouble. You yourself put yourself in a bad situation,
Yeah.
and you need to get out of it somehow.
Yeah, because trust doesn't involve jealousy or like possessiveness or even fear in a way.
Right.
Trust doesn't involve that.
Right.
So,
Why do people put themselves in bad situations and they're in relationships with people that they don't trust?
yeah.
It's probably because it's monetary. The relationship is
Yeah.
probably monetary. You can't build a relationship on money. You can't. You can build a house with money.
Mhm.
You can, things like you can build material things, but a relationship is not material.
Yeah, and a house is
You
not a
can't buy
home.
a relationship.
Yeah.
You can buy time with someone.
Mhm.
Such as consulting with us. If you need additional advice with relationships, by all means, buy time with us through the Wifeconomics website, and you can consult with us if you have any issues that you want to talk about in private.
Mhm.
But yeah, so trust by all means. You need to be able to trust the person that you are with and feel secure and safe. You want to be able to provide support and knowing that this person got your back no matter what, whether it's wrong or right. I believe that my wife, I know for a fact, without any doubt, that my wife has my back.
Mhm.
And if there's any physical situation, any altercations, I'm there to step up for my wife, and I have her back, and she has my support as well.
Mhm.
So I know that um, I can tell her anything that I want to do. We have a vault. What I've learned in management is that with your employees, you create something called an imaginary vault that you can tell your spouse anything at any time about anything, whether it's your past
Mhm.
traumas and things that you've been through as a child. I know I've told my wife some things that I've never told anyone else, and she has done the same thing with me. And I refuse to tell anyone else about it, but I can trust in her and confide in her that I can tell her my deepest, darkest secrets, and everything will be okay,
Mhm.
because we're not the people who we used to be.
Mm-mm.
And we change every day and we transition to grow and be better than who we are yesterday. So
Mhm.
everything is okay.
Yep.
But that's the type of trust and support that you need to have in your relationship so that you all can grow.
Yeah.
You can't grow with somebody who's not being supportive with you. Alpha women, by all means, please stop trying to change, the beta male man that you're with. You need to accept him and who he is. And don't nag him, nag him to death, but be supportive of him and inspire him. And maybe, he may make that change and be the person that you want him to be. I don't know why, a lot of men feel today that the women that they're with are nagging them and overbearing, and can often at times, leave men feeling alone and desolate and isolated. And then they start inheriting these beta male qualities of just going with the flow and doing things and whatever. And it leads to depression. You shouldn't be depressed in your relationship. You need to have your wife to support you, vice versa. The man should also support their wife through difficult times and mental situations. Be that solid rock for them, and you all both can grow and be fruitful in your relationship and do things that will elevate you. But trust and support, by all means, are that goes into loyalty as well, knowing that your spouse is not out here committing infidelities and flirting with other people. If you feel as if you have somebody in your life that you think, especially if you can't leave their side, and that they are possibly out here could flirt with another woman or another man, then you don't have that trust in your relationship. That's not a trustworthy relationship. Don't put yourself in those situations. You're putting yourself in a bad situation that's going to end badly because that person doesn't value you. They're not supporting you because they're not supporting your feelings and caring about your feelings. So don't do that. People. So by all means, you need to build trust and support in your relationship, getting rid of all fear and doubts and creating that safe space so that both of you can tell each other the deepest, darkest secrets of your past.
Yep, and let it go. Let it feel good. That feels good. I think that's the cool part of a relationship, is that part, right? And you can do that with somebody, and that makes your connection so deep because it's a bond that you won't have with anyone else. And that's super cool. And everybody deserves that, to have that. And I think that actually helps you to look to be a better person and be confident within yourself. And in a way, have like a therapeutic moment where you get a weight lifted off of your shoulder, where you can, say who you are and the things you've gone through in a non-judgmental space, and really not feel like you're going to get negatively consequenced by that doing so. Yep, I agree. Trust and support, super big. And the last one is, of course, a huge important characteristic of a healthy relationship, and that is intimacy. That is another bond that you are not going to have with anyone else if you decide to take that monogamous relationship, because you're going to actually be able to have a connection with another person, only one other person, and something that no one else will have that connection with. And when we talk about that, we're talking about like sex and the things that you all do, but intimacy also involves the other levels, the mind level, being able to show public displays of affection, being able to be in love with your person in a way of complimenting them, and being able to acknowledge all the beautiful things about them that you love seeing. That is a great form of intimacy that really will deepen the bond, the respect, the trust, the love, and everything else that you guys have.
Right. Men, open doors for your wife or your spouse or the girlfriend that you're dating. That chivalry is not dead. It's not. Show signs to your lady that you're dating, to let her know that you want to get close to her. Hold her close, hug her, wrap your arms around her, hold hands when you're out in public. A lot of people, you go out now, you don't see a lot of husbands and wives holding hands. They've gotten that hard up in their relationship that they forgot what it used to be like when they first got together.
Cute. We always see that cute couple, or the younger couple, where you put the arm around each other and stuff like that.
Those are the two people that you see. It's either those new young couples or either those old couples that do it.
Those railroad.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
They're supporting each other while they
right.
walk.
Right. It's either that or fear that's keeping
Which
them
is still
together,
sweet.
to
Yeah.
keep them holding their hands. Like, I don't want
Mm.
nothing to happen. Let me. I'm just joking. But
Yeah, but that's true though.
yeah.
It's those young relationships really that you see that intimacy, but that intimacy has to stay without the whole time of the relationship because it's good and it's a nice connection and it's going to bring you guys closer together.
This intimacy.
Garnet.
But yeah, I mean, we don't see that enough. Be intimate with who you're with. That grows the relationship. That makes the fondness. That makes it hard for you to not be without that person. Moving forward.
Yeah.
Fill that person up with that intimacy, because they're
Yep.
gonna always want to be around you and want to be with you and keep you close.
Yep. And learn each other's love language. That's another one. So maybe yours is acts of service or words of affirmation, whatever it is your love language is. Take the time to really learn your spouse's love language, because it's not about how you receive love. You don't want to give your spouse what you think you want. You want to give your spouse what they want. So then that way they're actually going to feel that love, because they're not going to feel it in the same form that you do sometimes. So,
right.
Yeah.
Give gifts. Understand what you're.
Sometimes some people don't like gifts though.
Right.
So that's, just knowing the love language.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, surprise them with gifts sometimes. Their favorite, something small, like your favorite candy, favorite soda, favorite drink.
Yep.
Gifts. Everyone likes gifts. Favorite foods. Take them out on dates. Take her out on dates. Suggest dates. Suggest new experiences. Go to some sort of play putt golf, go hiking.
Yeah.
Go on a dessert date. Do random stuff like that.
Yeah, those things are great intimate moments. And then also remember, foreplay doesn't have to look like foreplay. It could be you guys just talking, right? You guys sitting down, especially with women.
Flirting.
Yeah, women love that, having that conversation, that talking, you flirting throughout the day, coming throughout the day and putting your hand on each other's. I know sometimes I see a trending like on like TikTok and stuff. They say the smacking the butt, the woman feels like, stop hitting my butt. But, it's cute. That's a guy's way of naturally showing like, you look good, or like, I'm, hey, it's cute. And that's how men do it. So be open and receptive to that as well. And don't really kind of push that off, because that can actually be discouraging when it comes to a man if he is trying to be loving and lighthearted. Kind of take that as a way that, you can contribute some way. If you need to go back and smack his booty too, go ahead. Whatever it is going to make you feel comfortable, and you guys having that lighthearted relationship that is constantly a flow of intimacy is really going to set up a beautiful, healthy relationship that's going to flourish.
All right. Well said, honey.
Yeah.
Well said. That's all I had as far as intimacy.
Yeah, me too.
And
These
then-
were great characteristics of a healthy, functional relationship, for sure.
Yeah. So I can do the rundown. You want me to do the rundown?
Sure, we can list this out real quickly.
All right. The healthy characteristics of a functional romantic relationship. Number one, personal integrity. Working on a relationship. Well, hold on. Okay. Personal integrity. Number one. Number two, honesty and accountability. Number three, open communication. Number four, negotiation and fairness. Number five, economic teamwork. Number six, respect. Number seven, trust and support. And number eight, intimacy.
Yep.
Those there, people, are the tips that you need to know before you get into a relationship. These are characteristics that you must have and what you need in order to thrive in that relationship.
Yeah, make it last
to
forever.
Get married
Yep.
and have children and raise a family and all that good stuff that comes with it, and grow old and be grandparents.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you all coming out tonight. Thank you all with all the comments. It really means a lot to us. As well. And until next time, you all have a wonderful night. Good night. Peace.
Peace.